Hey guys, welcome back, and welcome to the new patrons. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to go back and watch some of the bonus content from previous posts. I hope you enjoy it. It's been a while since my last update. It has been crazy busy the last couple of months, but we'll get into that a little later. First up, Maker Faire. Yes, it has been 2 months now since Maker Faire, but it seems like I was just there. It was so much different from that first time. This was my third Maker Faire, and 1 year since my very first one. And some of you might remember my talking about the first one last year, the first one in Bay Area, and being so nervous to go in and meet all these people that I knew from online. And of course it turned out great. I made so many great friends, and this time it was totally different. It was like being a Maker Faire veteran at this point, and I got to see so many of the friends that I had made previously, and met some new people like Ben Ueda and Simone Yatch and some guy named Conan. Oh, and also 3 members of the Rock of Fire Explosion. I also got to shoot off a fire cannon. I saw a baby stroller that looked like a time machine, and I got to ride in this thing. It rained quite a bit this year, but it didn't stop me from having fun and seeing all the great events and getting to hang out with great people again. But most of the fun, I think, was actually had before the fair this year. Some of you might remember last year my flight got delayed an entire day, and I ended up not being able to see San Francisco at all, so I made sure to get in extra early this year and met up with some guys, and we all spent some time together having fun around the Bay Area. In fact, we had an entire nerd herd, all of whom were staying together in an Airbnb. I think there were 10 of us total. It was a great bunch of makers, some of whom you may know from online. There was David, his friend Mark, Sean, Isaac, Clinton, Wes, different Wes, his wife Catherine, Mark, and Daniel, who we made repeat this every night in his sultry voice until we all fell asleep.
Hello and welcome back to Switch and Lever.
Oh, and I'll try to link to everybody's content down in the video description. Day 1, as soon as my plane landed, I met up with David and his friend Mark, had some terrific Mexican food in the Mission District, saw some great signage in the area, and visited a little roadside attraction that I've been meaning to hit for quite a long time, called Peephole Cinema. It's literally a peephole in an alley. Oh, yeah, it was right here. With a tiny screen inside it playing little art films. It's been there for years. It's even marked in Google Maps, but apparently the local police didn't know it was there, and so I guess understandably they stopped to find out what we were doing in an alley peeping through somebody's wall. No, this is like it's like a tiny
hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why,
Yeah.
Just checking it out.
Yeah, so finally the next day, when everybody's delayed flights had all finally come in and we were all able to get together, we took a trip exploring the city together, did a drive-by, of course, of the house from Full House. What's the theme song? How does it go?
Everywhere you look, everywhere you look. Oh God, don't.
On the way to the ILM/Lucasfilm campus, where we met up with Peter Brown and got to visit the lobby there, which is open to the public. We took a nice leisurely stroll just a short distance away to a place called the Palace of Fine Arts. An incredible work of architecture, originally built in 1915, reconstructed, I think, in the 1960s sometime, including this huge, gorgeous rotunda where we accidentally crashed somebody's wedding. And enormous statues of butts. From there, it was a short walk to a oddly restrictive park and the San Francisco Bay, where we got a view, of course, of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Half expect a Klingon bird of prey to fly under. Very nerdy reference.
And Alcatraz, and we engaged a little bit of vandalism.
Must add stickers.
And walked up a jetty to see something called the what is it called? The wave organ, an acoustical work of art consisting of concrete pipes that amplify ocean sounds.
What do you hear?
I hear gurgling.
It's just your stomach from the tacos.
Yep, you're right.
Of course, we're all more interested in how they make concrete tubes this long.
And also, apparently, as people who don't get outside much, we were just mesmerized by crabs.
Look at the one, there's like tons of them.
Oh God, there's so many more than I thought there were.
Yeah, they're camouflaged.
Oh, there's a couple of them, yeah.
Oh! They're way closer than I thought they were. He's a big guy. They're fighting. Oh, the red one.
We all clearly spend a lot of time inside.
At that point, a portion of the group had to split off and go back. They had some of them were presenting at Maker Faire, so they were going to a special dinner presentation thing. And so a small group of us went to a place called Musée Mécanique, which was the best. It was filled with vintage arcade machines, automata, all sorts of things that it was way more than I can fit in this video.
This place is the best.
Then we took an Uber over to Chinatown, where we visited a fortune cookie factory and ran into a guy who just started talking to us, a gentleman in his 80s who was incredibly knowledgeable about the area and just volunteered to get. We were basically kidnapped by this man. He took us on a short tour, showed us where the headquarters of the local mob used to be, and we told him we were headed someplace for some food, and he said, no, you come with me, and took us to the most amazing Chinese restaurant. He even took over ordering for us. He just asked us what kind of food we like. I said chicken. He said rice or noodles. I said noodles. Spicy or not spicy? I said kind of middle. He goes, okay, medium spicy chicken with noodles. What about you? I like chicken. He says, no, he's getting chicken. What are you getting? Beef. Okay, beef. How spicy? Took over the whole thing. Did it all for us. This man was amazing. He had so many stories to tell us. It was the most incredible experience. From there, we were all pretty tired, but I convinced those remaining to go to a tiki bar. I love tiki bars. There are like 3 in San Francisco. I had to visit at least one of them, and we all had the most incredible time. The next morning, Wes Swain, who was famous for his pancakes, grilled up some. You grill pancakes, I guess. Griddle cake. They're called griddle cakes. They're on a griddle. You grill. He made pancakes. The most amazing pancakes. I had heard about these pancakes for so long, and they really did live up to their reputation. If somehow any of you get the chance to have Wes Swain pancakes, I highly recommend it. So, needless to say, Maker Faire this year was the absolute best. Unfortunately, as you've probably heard, that's the last one. At least the last of the flagship Maker Faires. The local ones are still happening, I think, but there's not going to be a New York this year. There's not going to be a Bay Area again next year. Sadly, that's over. So I haven't quite processed that yet. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it. I'm going to have to find another way to meet up with all these guys again. We'll figure out a way, I'm sure. So what else? You know, I almost shot this video the other day. I was in the hospital, and I had come home. I was still kind of loopy on the meds. It was nothing serious. I'd actually been in the ER a few weeks ago. I had what they called a food bolus, which basically just means I swallowed too big a bite of a bagel and it got stuck in my esophagus. Not life-threatening. I could still breathe, but it's ends up feeling like a truck is parked on your chest. They ended up having to intubate me and do an endoscopy and clear it through. And the other day I went back for another endoscopy to check on things. They found basically what is just a stricture. So they stuck a balloon in me and inflated it and stretched it out. So what has happened in the workshop? You know what? I'm gonna have to check my notes on this because it's been so long. Yes, I had performed some upgrades to my robot, which you guys saw, the whole wasteboard, everything. I installed a new Z-axis from TBD-CNC. At the end of that video, though, I still had some work left to do. I went through, I made sure everything was good and square. I even put shims in to really get it nice and straight. And I recalibrated all the stepper motors, which I had never done before. So now the machine is more accurate than ever. Right on the money. But having the new Z-axis meant that my old dust shoe no longer fit. So I started a project designing new arms. So I carved some replacements out of PVC sheet. It also allowed me to replace the annoying little knobs on the original arms with some much easier to handle handles. Although it still took some experimentation and some re-engineering to come up with something that worked right. Unfortunately, I have quickly realized that this doesn't work perfectly because these handles run into these pulleys. So I'm having to redesign this a bit. And now I need to counterbore the other side. By the way, this is where all this extra Z height comes in handy. Oh, okay. I had depth per pass set at 125 inches instead of 0.125 inches. How is that even possible? Which, come to think of it, still doesn't make any sense. Why would it go? I don't know. Let's just start again. Oh. Yeah, okay. That had nothing to do with it. It should have been obvious. I just set the depth wrong. That's all there was to it. Now, unfortunately, the only way to properly test this is to cut this off. And I just checked Amazon, and they're out of these now, so I better not screw it up. So here's what I've done. Originally, I had the arm and then the spacer here, and the handle went through both of them like this, and so the handle just stuck out way too far. So what I've done is to extend the spacer piece up. That brings in the handle a 1/2 inch, plus I counterbored the outside here, which brings it in another, I think it was 3/16 of an inch. So where it would have originally been out here like this, it's now in here. So just stick the T-slot nut on here, give this a shot. Now, let's home it and see what happens. Perfect, with room to spare. Once I'm confident that everything's working right, I plan to redo those arms out of solid aluminum. And now, bird news. For those of you who are new, I seem to have a strange relationship with birds at my workshop. I had a hummingbird stuck in my workshop some time ago that I had to rescue. I'll link to that video in the video description. That was a whole epic adventure. And of course there's Carly, the idiot bird who attacks my window every morning, or at least did. I actually haven't seen her in a while. I think she's still around. She showed up once a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know if she's wised up or just gotten bored with me. I don't know. I haven't seen her around. However, I recently did have a new visitor.
Huh. Well, this is a first. I've seen coyotes out here. Never a roadrunner.
And I soon discovered she was actually getting up on top of a cabinet on the patio and building a sort of a nest and laid an egg.
Look at that.
Which later turned into 2 eggs, which unfortunately she ended up abandoning and they never hatched. Now, things I've actually been working on, actual projects. I just posted a video on a couple of neon mud flap signs that I made for a new bar that's opening here locally. I didn't have enough extra footage to make an extended version for you guys, but there was, I think there was a little detail about the electronics that I used. Rather than spend all the time and effort developing my own little circuit board for the flashing effect that's going to go on these signs, I just bought this super inexpensive educational kit that teaches you how to make a circuit that just alternates a couple of little onboard LEDs. Unfortunately, with my LED strips hooked up to it, even at its slowest speed, because it is adjustable, it was just a little too fast. Whoa, that was just a seizure machine. So what I did was I cannibalized some components off of some old test circuits and then swapped out these resistors and these capacitors with different values until I got the effect that I wanted. There we go. In addition to that project, and this is what's been keeping me so busy, I had a lot of commissions for that bar. I also made a 22-foot long changeable letter menu board. I'm going to be doing a full video on that one, I think. I also made an outdoor message board. I posted a video for you guys on that. Also, there was a couple of bottle cap chandeliers, a giant license plate star, a kitchen open late sign, which was a copy of one that I had done previously. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that before, as well as a neon cheesesteak sign. I didn't do a video on that. I had to get through a lot of this pretty fast. I also made a small neon sign for the drive-in movie theater in New York that I do work for. It was for their new snack shack. I am also currently working on, I was inspired by Brett McAfee, who works a lot with Jimmy DiResta. He recently made a 20-sided die out of steel, and that inspired me to start an entire 7-piece set of dice that I've been working on. I'll be doing a video on that, but follow me over at Instagram to see those as I complete them. All right. Oh, that's hot. Okay. I'm doing them a little bit at a time because I'm also working on some more of those vintage vending machines that I'm converting. And like I said, it's been incredibly busy at Workshop Treat. Workshop Treat? Wesley's Workshop? Workshop? I don't know. And I've said it before, but it's still true. My patrons are the best. You guys are the absolute best. I really appreciate your support. And hey, stay tuned. More to come. And yeah, see you soon. Oh, I forgot about the roof rack thing. Should I talk about the roof rack thing? I tried using my brand new roof rack to bring some aluminum home, and I thought the aluminum tubing was making this horrible noise. So I tried duct taping it up, but that didn't do it. Eventually I learned it was the straps making the horrible noise. Then I had to strap down the straps with the duct tape. Also, I almost got on the highway with a roll of duct tape on my roof.
Oops.
All of this before I realized all I had to do was put a twist in the strap, and that completely eliminates the noise. Yeah, there's a lot of basic things that I still haven't learned. No, I don't think I'll mention that.